ladies and gentlemen. I am Doldej Schuett from Saipanya Rangsit School, Today, I'd like to make a speech about how do I maintain Thai identity in this globalized world. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like all of you to think with me just for a few seconds on what do we mean by the term identity. What makes these people different from all other people? Let's say language. How about the way people live? Or how about the way people believe in? How about religions, languages? Or how about dances, music, and festival? These things are all identities that evolved hundreds or even thousands of years ago because the world is so different. We have different climates, we have different ways of life that people in the past had to adapt to. These identities, these cultures, inherited from generations to generations to generations until all of us living in the present world. However, today we have the internet. Today we can communicate from Thailand all the way around the globe to USA in just a few seconds. This changes a lot. This changes because identities tend to merge together. And to a certain extent, that might be a good thing. But too much, it is definitely a bad thing. So, before I can say how do I maintain Thai identities, let me point out first what are these identities I would like to conserve. In other words, what makes Thailand, Thailand? First thing first, language, of course. No matter where you go, if you hear the Thai language, it is a complex language. It is a language used in Thailand. Then we know, and you know, that this is a Thai identity. It identifies this person as being Thai or not. The second thing is the why. It's the way Thai people greet each other. It is unique, it is beautiful, and it reflects how respectful Thai people are. The third thing are the festivals. The two most prominent festivals and probably most enjoyed by foreigners and even Thai people. What is it? Songkran and Lagratong festivals. The two last things that always accompany festivals are Thai music and Thai dance. So, all in all, there are 5 things or 5 identities I'd like to conserve. Let me begin with the first thing. Language. As I said earlier, because the world today has become so globalized and we communicate so easily, but Thai teenagers especially even try to communicate even faster. So they try to mutate the language in certain ways that linguists do not like. It corrupts the language. It changes the structure of this language. For example, they use new slangs. They use variated grammar. They do things that change the way the language was invented and has always been evolving ever since. So for me, the very easy way, a very simple way to conserve the language is to just use it correctly. Just to try to stick with how language is supposed to be, and not the way that language has evolved so badly that it is now unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. The second point, my second point is why, right? Why like this? Seems to be easy, but there are actually many levels depending on who are you and who the person you are whying is. Depends on the level. And the way to why shows how Thai people are respectful. Children nowadays tend to why less and less and adopt new ways of greeting. That is not a bad thing, but it is also not a good thing necessarily, because we have to conserve how Thai people usually is. The third thing, festival. Songkran and Lagratong, as I said earlier, they are two most prominent festivals, maybe the most enjoyable as well. I like both of them. And I do participate in both of the festivals. During summer, I do the Songkran, and during the winter, I do the Lagratong. For example, 2 years ago, my school was visited by many educators from 11 countries around ASEAN community, plus Japan. What we did, that we invited all these educators and students to come together and practice and participate in the Lagratong festival. We had some students from my school that do ramwong or the Thai dancing. we had a live Krathong song, and we also did some Krathong for them and let them put it into the canal, just to preserve and to explore all the possibilities of such a festival so enjoyable. The fourth thing, as I said, it always accompanies the festival that Thai people have, dances and Thai music. In terms of dance, do you feel that Thai dance is beautiful? Do you think so? And do you think it is complicated? For me, I feel it is beautiful, but it is also complicated. I've tried to practice it, but it really is difficult. So instead of doing it, I choose to enjoy it, enjoy watching it, and just appreciating Thai dance, Thai classical dance. It makes the people who are talented have someone to support them, and they continue to excel their talents. But in terms of music, for me it's not that difficult, but not as difficult as doing the dance. I do practice Thai musical instruments, like Kim and Rana, and now I am very enjoying these two instruments. So in conclusion, I believe there are just 5 things that I'd like to conserve: the language, the why, festivals, music, and dance. I'd like to say that the monkeys, the closest relatives to humans, they do not recognize themselves in the mirror. But we, humans, know ourselves. We know our faces. We recognize people through distinguishing the faces. This is my friend, this is my friend, this person is named like this. But when identity is mixed too much, we cannot differentiate between being Thai, being evolved hundreds of thousands of years ago. That is not a good thing, because this is a cultural value that has been with us for thousands of years, but the internet is going to destroy it. So I'd like to pledge that we have to save our cultures, our identities today, before there is no identities to save, because it is long gone and forever lost. Thank you.